Welcome, Empire fans, to a special podcast of Williamsburg Lady Pirate basketball. Speaking with head coach Dusty Spradlin. Coach, just again, congratulations on your terrific season there. And before we talk about your kids and go into that, the game with Berlin Highland, what did you take away from that program to maybe in the future take the Lady Pirate basketball to a new level?
Well, I mean, obviously, that's something that we want to strive to is to get to that point, where Highland is. And, they're a storied program that, spent a lot of their time in D4 and has won championships, and they've moved, here recently to D3. And, I think one of the things that we can borrow from them, I mean, obviously their bench play was huge. They rotated 9 kids in. It's just not something that we were really afforded to do this year. The most we played throughout the season was 8, but a lot of times, that bench for us, that rotation, really got cut down to 7 in the tournament. So, moving forward, that's one thing that I would kind of like to be able to do is to get more kids involved. Obviously, they had such a threat inside and outside, which, looking back to like when we beat Eastern Brown had the inside presence. Medford had the inside presence, and we kind of forced some people to make shots. Highland had both; they had the inside game and the outside game. So, we know that we've got to get better. We've got to develop a little bit more of that post game. Hopefully with some of the kids that we got returning, and then this group of 8th grade class that's coming. Hopefully we can do that over the next couple of years.
Coach, talk about your season. I know you guys, we definitely went to that regional, but just overall, how did you? Some thoughts about the overall season.
Well, I'm not sure how many people really looked at this group. You look at them on paper, or you look at them in a team picture, and I'm not sure someone would have said 3 championships right off the bat when they look at a picture. But we kind of joked all season about they can't measure what's inside of us. So, this group, a lot of people may not remember, started 1 and 2. I mean, we won the big game, game 1 with Medford at our place. Then we dropped a heartbreaker to Alexander by 2 points, and then we lost a tough one at Oak Hill to follow that one up. That was a Saturday, Monday. So we were 1 and 2, and we ended the season on a good run, 23 and 5. 13 and 1 in the SOC. Like I said, we were able to win a conference championship, a sectional championship, and a district championship. And, with kids that were, maybe a little bit small in stature, but kids that really had a big heart, kids that were really determined, and kids that were really tough.
Coach, you do have quite a few players before we get to your seniors. Talk about your returning players for next year.
Well, I think for us, we got such great contributions from Ellie Counter. I thought Ellie really elevated her game from her freshman season to this past season as a sophomore. She started every game at the point for us and really came along. Elena Keeney was really good for us as a freshman. Had some of her ups and downs, as most freshmen do, trying to get used to the difference in the play between junior high ball and high school varsity ball, but really had an outstanding season. And then Kaylee Darnell. Kaylee, I think a lot can be said about her year this year. She really kind of found her offensive game. And, I think last year she spent a little bit of time trying to figure out exactly what her role was and exactly, what shots she needed to be taken. And really this year stepped up in a big way to help Abby, be able to kind of share that scoring load. And those 2 kids took turns. There were games where, Kaylee had 20-plus points, and then there were games where Abby had 20-plus points. So, those 3 right off the bat, Kaylee and Ellie and Elena Keeney, were really big for us, as well as our 2 seniors. But I got to talk about our bench before we talk about our seniors. Lauren Jolly. Lauren came in, defensive-minded person that really comes in and plays extremely hard, loves, the game, loves playing hard, loves, getting out there and getting after it. Lauren, again, is another one that's a sophomore that, well, we hope that she can develop, her offensive game a little bit more from this year to next year and take on a bigger role next year. And then Lainey Irwin, the shot that was heard around the world with that bank shot that she knocks in against Morgan in the regional semi. Lainey had some big moments throughout this season. She had a fantastic game in the district semi with Fairland. She's a kid that can, change the game on the defensive end, and obviously she stepped up big for us in that game against Morgan with a game-winning shot to put us into that regional final.
And your JV squad, if memory serves me right, they had a pretty decent year too, didn't they?
Yes, they did. I can't remember the record right off, but probably lost about 4 games or so. And again, as often is the case with us over the last few years, we took away their best player in Elena Keeney. Elena came up and played varsity ball all year, kind of the same that we did last year with Kaylee Darnell and Ellie Counter. They played varsity ball as freshmen, but we kind of believe that it's going to help those kids that were freshmen this year. It's going to help those kids. They had to take on, different roles without Elena being there because, you get a little used to them in junior high always being the one that you look to, always be the one that's going to go score when you need it. And this year, we didn't have Elena playing JV. So, those kids got a lot of good minutes. We had good numbers that came out this year. 18 total kids came out. We lose 2 to graduation. And we've got a pretty good class that's coming in, probably, anywhere from 10 to 12 kids, hopefully, that'll come out. So, the future is certainly looking bright. We got a lot of kids and experience this year, so hopefully, next year we can be talking about another good tournament run. But we're sure going to miss the 2 seniors that we had this year because those 2 were fantastic kids, and those 2, allowed us to be as good as we ended up being, Gene. And
just your thoughts on those 2 seniors.
Well, I'm going to start with Carly because, Carly is a kid that, again, you look at, everybody wants to look at the offensive side of it. And, Carly didn't have very many games where, she scored that much. But, again, another kid that really changed the complexion of a lot of games. She was kind of our post-presence, kind of our enforcer, especially defensively. And I don't know how many times the coaches kind of looked at each other and said, well, we wouldn't have been able to do this without Carly. So, Carly had a fantastic senior season. She played hard for us. I think probably the biggest thing that comes to mind is, the very first game with Minford and how tough she was guarding the Blankenship kid. So, we're certainly going to miss her. We know that she's going to be just fine as she moves forward, leaving high school. A real intelligent kid, a kid that's going to work hard at whatever she does, and we certainly wish her the best. And, the other senior, Abby, it's hard to kind of put into words all the things that Abby's done over 4 years, but I think she finished 3rd on the all-time scoring list with about 1,500 and some points. I think 3 championships in 4 years, 3 SOC championships. The record that we've had, I think, with her playing is something like 82 and 14 or something like that over her 4 years. So, just been a fabulous career. We obviously went as she went. She kind of drew the best defender a lot of nights, and like I said, that allowed us to get Kaylee going in some ways. But just a great season for her, and obviously she's got big things waiting for her at Shawnee State. I would say she's going to have a real good chance to step on the floor and play some as a freshman for Shawnee. Just had a fantastic career for Wheelersburg, not just in basketball, but volleyball as well.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with Berg Fan. Any final thoughts before we get off here?
Well, I do want to say how much we appreciate Berg Fan and really the whole Pirate Nation. Our tournament run, I saw some of our kids tweeting some things. The crowd that we had that was tremendous, along our tournament run at both Waverly High School, with the district semi and the district final, and then all the people that made the trip to Logan for the regional semi and the regional final. Just a fantastic display, for our kids. I know our kids were excited to have a bunch of people there. I just remember some of the kids tweeting out how great it is to play for Wheelersburg, someone, a school that has such backing from their community. So we want to thank all the community out there that's listening. I know the girls really appreciated all the support throughout the season.
Coach, thanks a lot, and good luck next year as you move forward.